It's gonna be another extremely bad tagline.
Shocker.
I figured. That's the tag. Shocker.
Shocker. The dark side of nature. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Squeeze me?
Yeah. Nature was having a little bit of depression going on, and
You know what? It's fine. Sad is real.
yeah,
so.
Christmas time's hard for some storms.
Isn't nature like 80% dark side?
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
Nature is pretty much always terrible.
Yeah, it's like either fine or it's really bad.
It's like stuff looks pretty, but outside of it looking pretty, everything's horrifying and bad.
Yes, correct.
Oh, hell.
For example, the ocean
Oof.
looks
Yes.
pretty on the surface, but nothing but turmoil below.
Nothing but just endless circling and eating.
And pooping.
Yeah. There's a lot of shark poop in that ocean.
Yeah.
Alright, this is episode 122 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Nathan.
Kit.
Katie,
This week,
bringing you the news.
I met guns whenever you did that.
This week we are talking about 2012's Christmas Twister, aka F6 Twister, but
AKA Twistmas.
only Christmas
Ooh.
Twister in my heart.
AKA Chris Tam's Twister. Did you guys see that?
No.
The title card for the movie says Chris Tam's. Christmas
Oh,
is
did it?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Incorrect.
I don't know if it was on purpose, but
There's got to be a screenshot of that I'm going to have to find.
I snapped it to you.
Oh, did you? I still didn't like.
Yeah.
I just saw you were watching it, but I don't think I even paid attention that it was spelled wrong. What a perfect way to start this movie. Alright, real quick before we jump into the movie, Patreon shout out to Dylan from Diary of Doom, who is a meat shake monster.
Blend up some meat and pumpkin spice it. Give it to me as a shake.
If I asked you if I gave you a big bowl of chili, might it affect your memory? But what's the movie going to be called? Really?
I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
Nothing gets you high like drugs.
Hey.
Dylan is picking our March bonus episode theme. Yeah, March.
Wow.
And we thank Dylan for his service to meat shaking.
And I thank you.
Dylan rules. We've all been on like one of his podcasts at this point. I think Kids is probably coming out soon.
Yes. He said he'd let me know.
Yeah,
Could be sometime soon.
Kit and I did Diary of Doom sometime earlier this year about sort of Bong Ripper, but mostly about how Danzig's a douchebag. Katie was on Defenders of the Cake about Jurassic Park.
Yes.
I was on Defenders of the Cake with Caitlin about the difference between New Jersey and Ohio. And then Kit's coming up with Tremors.
Yeah.
Perfect septilogy. I forget what 7 is. But
I
also,
I didn't.
I assume
Septology.
extremely not perfect.
No.
All right. So, what did you guys think of Christmas Twister?
Like, enjoyably fine.
Yeah.
It's very forgettable, but it's like kind of cutesy. Like little Christmas movie, like very obviously something you catch on TV, and it's like, oh, all right, that was good. Moving on.
It was just stupid enough that I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. Like, it needed more tornado
Yeah,
things,
I agree.
but like anytime I got like, there's at least 2 times you see a dude get sucked into the tornado, just go flying
Yes.
off. I was like cracking up.
Anytime the Twister twisted things, I enjoyed it. But it was kind of like dragged on a little too long for me, and also the script was very strange.
Well,
But
I'll give it.
it was fine.
I'll give it points because the entering Fort Worth sign is like 10 minutes from my house, and I
Right.
bypassed it all the
Yeah,
every
I was gonna
time
say.
they showed like a city in Texas, I was like, I wonder where Kit's at compared to this. I was
Yeah, how was it to have the Twisters in your backyard?
uh,
terrifying.
I was like, I'm
Oh
sure,
my god,
sure he's aware every summer.
I'm so scared of tornadoes.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, after that one hit my house, it wasn't great.
I remember.
Before
Oh.
that, I was just like, yeah, that's like whatever. It's just a storm. And then I was like, oh, I don't have power for like a month.
Yeah, I remember when we were moving to California and we stopped by to visit some of Chris's family pre-COVID, and she was one of his family members was basically just like, I don't know how you guys could go to California. Earthquakes are so scary, and they live in like Wyoming, and I was like, girl, you have tornadoes, and she's like, yeah, but those are whatever, and I was like, excuse me, no, I'm way more scared of tornadoes than earthquakes. But to be fair, I haven't experienced, knock on wood, an actual real earthquake. I have experienced tornadoes though. They're
Most of
scary.
my experience from when I was growing up in California, earthquakes are usually fine. It's just that every, like, you know,
Most of
every
the
couple
time-
years there's like the one real big one, but it's also like tornadoes are like that too, where most of the time it's like there's a bunch of warnings for a couple years, or like maybe a touchdown in like a cornfield, but then like every couple years one actually does some damage, at least where I was at.
Yeah, well, this movie sort of, I at least appreciate the message behind why the twisters are happening. Because when the last year that I was living in Richmond, like there would be tornadoes sometimes, but not anywhere near us because, you know, we lived in the city. But then we had some really bad storms, and I was at work. I was like the only manager there, of course, and there was like tornadoes touching down. There was like 3 of them around us, like touching down and coming through the city, and it was just like thankfully I wasn't hurt. It didn't come close enough to us to cause any damage, but it was like terrifying because that doesn't normally happen.
Yeah, like I do like that. Like the thing about this movie was that it's like no one is believing this guy that global warming and shit, like climate change is making all of it worse.
Real. Yeah.
Like I felt like this was a movie that was kind of like a good sort of companion piece to Santa Jaws, in the fact that it's very much like, it feels like a sci-fi disaster movie, but also like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I had fun watching it. Like it's very stupid, and like all of the acting is completely ridiculous, but like anytime there's like damage happening, or like kind of about the last like 20 minutes is pretty ridiculous, when it's like all of the shit in the mall and then at the fucking news station,
Yeah.
and like that pregnant lady definitely should be dead. Or her baby's gonna have some massive problems from like inhaling burning
Smoke.
shit in the sub basement of a giant building.
Yeah. Really sucks because she was so close to popping that sucker out, and then this happened.
As soon as they were just like, I told you should have taken this like week off, you're almost about to have a baby, I was like, welp, something not great's happening there. So this movie was directed by Peter Sullivan, written by Hans Wasserberger and Peter
Great name.
Sullivan. Yes. Starring Casper Van Dien, Victoria Pratt, Richard Burgi, Haley Lou Richardson.
Stephen Williams.
I don't know who Stephen Williams is.
Really?
Oh wait, is that the guy that was like charge of like the news desk or not charge, but like the behind the scenes guy?
Yeah.
Was he? He
He's
looked
great.
familiar, but
He's in the. Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell. He was in It, like the remake. He was in a lot of stuff.
yeah,
Supernatural.
He looks like he's been in a bunch of stuff that I've seen, but it's a lot of like TV shows where it's like an episode or something. So like
Yeah, that is also true.
I can't like place like a character he played per se, but I've definitely seen him in something.
How do you not recall him as Chip DeMars from Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Or Carl from Suddenly Susan.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Suddenly Susan.
Greg from Sister Sister.
Sister, sister.
Oh, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. He was on that.
Yes. You guys, we also finally have. Well, maybe this happened before. I'm not really sure. We finally had The Office crossover.
Who's
Brian, who was like the love interest to the daughter Caitlin, is the like lead guy in Here Comes Treble.
Oh, weird.
I like when he showed up, I was like, he looked so familiar, and he's definitely from The Office, but I'm not sure what. And so I looked it up. It's very funny.
I feel like at some point probably someone else we've probably done has been from The Office.
Probably, but I didn't. It wasn't somebody that.
Somebody in like the crowd scene during like the fucking episode where they're all playing volleyball and Pam and Jim find out they're pregnant.
Oh, such a good episode.
All right, let's get into this movie since I gotta go to fucking my stupid job.
Yeah.
Your not stupid job instead.
Yeah, I should go to my smart job instead, but
My smart job. Okay, so this movie, it takes place in Texas, good old state, and it starts December. We get timestamps throughout, so this starts on the 22nd, and it's thundering at a gas station, and there is a family who's gassing up. The wife and daughter go to a diner and argue about some pecan pie, and oh my god, so they played, there's like a weather alert sound, and it like made me feel bad. I hated it because it reminded me of whenever we were having all those tornadoes and it was just like bwomp, bwomp. But they like, for some reason, don't know what a weather alert sound is, because the daughter's like, what's that? And I was like, okay.
I mean, I guess depending on where they're from, like I didn't hear those a lot growing up.
Really?
I don't think I really realized those were a thing until like after I moved to Ohio.
Yeah, they're fairly rare here.
I heard them constantly living next to the Air Force Base.
Yeah.
Like
Those
they
are the aliens.
wake up every morning to the fucking stupid horn thing playing over their loudspeaker, and then just anytime there's any sort of weather, there's just fucking an hour of that thing going off.
Pretty much. So essentially, like, the newscast, the radio is just like, there is a tornado, and the dad meanwhile is like outside getting gas, and I actually laughed out loud at a couple parts in this movie. Okay, so this is the first one where he like looks up and sees the tornado and then just like stares at it, and his hat flies off and he's just like staring at it, and I was like, bro. So then he like runs into the diner, and the waitress is like, everyone, let's go, we have a refuge, let's get out of here. So luckily they have like a storage container behind the diner, so they all hide in the storage container. Also, somehow, well, the twister comes through and makes the gas pumps blow up, and so also the car blows up, I guess, and everything is on fire. So after the twister passes through, they're like, is it over? And he's like, I'm gonna go look. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like you should know if it's over or not.
Well, I think the big thing is like the eye of the storm or whatever that can like make it seem like it's done, and then you're actually like right in the middle of it.
Right, but I feel like you should wait more than like a second before you decide.
You immediately go outside and make sure.
He's also just like holding the door closed with a rope. So I don't know if they know how tornadoes actually work. So then he's gonna go take a look. He goes outside. The tornado is gone, but everything is destroyed, and he is clearly just standing. He is like superimposed onto like a barren wasteland, essentially.
It looks
All
like
right.
Oh, go ahead, Kit.
I'll say R.I.P. Stephenville, Texas.
Yeah.
Of Beans and Frank's, the only combo coffee shop hot dog stand. in
Okay, so I literally just saw Courtney post that, and I was like, "Oh my god, coffee and hot dogs! That sounds amazing."
That's what I thought. I was like, I'm so in on this combo.
Yes, what the heck? And it's got a great name. I hope it survived. I hope it's the only standing place.
I like when people open up a place that's like the most ludicrous combination of things. Like there used to be a music venue in like the 90s in Cincinnati called Sudsy Malone's where you could go and like it was a bar that you could see bands but do your laundry.
We actually have one of those here that's like half coffee shop, half laundromat, which is that makes sense to me though, because like
Yeah,
you just have
that's a
coffee,
practical combo.
It was just like
a scone while you watch your dry go round, but
there you.
okay, so then yeah, we get the title card, Chris Jam's Twister. I don't know who Chris Jam is,
It's
but
amazing to me that like shit like that happens still.
Christ.
I know. And like this movie isn't goofy enough that like I think it was on purpose. I think it just went through.
Oh
and
no,
someone was
there's
just
no
like,
way.
Air it.
Nobody was getting paid enough to correct it.
I think that's it. Okay, so now we're in Grand. Wait, I wrote Granbury.
Granbury.
Okay, that's right.
So,
Okay.
confusingly, within like earshot of each other, we have Granbury and Grand Prairie.
Oh.
Makes it very confusing.
Okay, well that's where we are. I think at one point I wrote Grand B also, so I don't know. We're in Texas. We're in a different section of Texas.
Just a different area of flatland with cows.
That starts with a G. So now we're on the 23rd of December, and we're introduced to two of our main characters, Ethan and Addison, who are husband and wife. And they start off by arguing about what they're going to do for their anniversary, which turns out to be nothing because they both work. And essentially, they have marital problems.
Yeah, she wants to fuck Wolverine.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, everybody likes a real hairy dude.
Whom amongst us? I was surprised to see like multiple people who I
Have seen in like
recognize.
Hallmark movies.
Right, because like her co-anchor. So basically, she's like, "Oh, I'm on call or whatever." By the way, it's like 3 a.m. and he's getting up to go to work at a question mark weather. I just wrote weather office. I wasn't really sure what he did because he's not the weather service, and
Going to the weather factory.
yeah, you know,
Gotta make some weather.
the weather facility. But her coworker Logan, who Ethan thinks his wife is like having an affair with him, essentially, is Richard Bergie, and he's in stuff, you know, Desperate Housewives, etc., etc. So I was very surprised to see like 3 people that I recognized in this one. Except for Casper, obviously, the friendly ghost. So, Ethan also, okay, so he's gonna go. He's like, whatever, see ya. And he goes and checks on his kids, which is like weird because he's like, he just like walks in and like smiles at them sleeping as if they're like 5, but they're like teenagers. So that was weird to me. And then also their adorable dog Ashley, who is giving the most excellent side eye the whole movie. I loved Ashley. Okay, also the son Max. So there's the daughter Caitlin and then the son Max. The son wakes up and they have a conversation about how he's grounded over something to do with tools and the 3 wise men, and I have no idea what he did that he's grounded because I don't think they actually say. Or did I miss it?
No, they did.
It has
No, it
something
was
to
because
do with
he
like a nativity
used
scene.
yeah, he used like the dad's tools or whatever to make that nativity scene when he wasn't allowed to.
Okay.
Like it was like a welding torch and shit. So like they're not wrong.
Okay, well that nativity scene looks like shit because there's like a sheepdog looking thing, and then also baby Jesus looks like an egg. So try better next time, Max.
How do you know baby Jesus wasn't an egg?
Yeah.
I wish.
The
I
Virgin
hope.
Mary was a chicken. Little known fact.
I like that story. I like if she was a
Like,
goose.
Chicken.
Okay, so
Y'all,
yes.
I've got breaking news,
Oh.
and it's terrible. Mortal
Okay.
Kombat's been delayed till April.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Well,
I actually didn't. I didn't know when it was supposed to come out originally, so I was just like, oh okay.
does it say why?
Nope.
Yeah, that just means something's probably wrong with the movie.
They had
Well-
to edit out some guy with swastikas tattoos.
Yep. Scorpion actually had this big SS tattoo on his forehead we didn't notice while shooting.
Over his eyes.
Yeah.
One F. I.
He was Charles Manson.
We accidentally cast a whole bunch of serial killers in this film. Our bad.
Okay.
But we didn't realize we didn't have to actually kill people to make this movie, so all of the fights were real, and we gotta figure some shit out.
It's just one big snuff film. Whoops. So Ethan goes to weather office, and his assistant Zach says, "Hey, how is Christmas like tornado season?" And the
However,
answer is, you get a tree in your living room. And they're like, ho 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 ho. There's also a person here named Chloe who I am not really sure. She doesn't seem to know a lot about weather, but she really wants to be in weather. So she's there kind of like shadowing, I guess. And there's a lot of tornado science talk in this movie. And I'm going to just assume that everything that they're saying is legit because I don't know anything about weather. So science talk, and the guys are also rude to Chloe because she doesn't really know anything. She kind of is like, haha, joke's on them though, because they're like explaining how tornadoes work and like category this, that, and the other. And she's like, oh. And they're like, yeah, F5 is the biggest tornado. And she was like, oh, could there be an F6? And they're like, ha, stupid woman, no. And then guess what, guys? The alternative title to this movie is F6 Twister, so go fuck yourself.
I'm ready for 95.
For F.
Just crank it up.
Yeah, just end it all.
It'd be incredible if that was just like they just immediately bypassed like 7 to 94.
Based on estimates.
This tornado is like so strong it's going straight to the core of the earth.
Drill it out, baby.
Yeah.
So then Addison goes to work where she is a news anchor or something. And basically they're like, hey, there was a tornado last night and there's no injuries, but like we want you to report on it. And she's like, wait, that's it? And her boss Deb goes, this ain't Chicago, honey. That was not a good accent, but she's like very southern sounding.
Yeah, it's a terrible accent.
Yeah, it's not great. And also she's trash. So essentially Logan, who is her co-anchor, is like, hey, did you tell Ethan about how we could be famous in New York, being anchors there? And she's essentially just like, no, like, so at this point you're getting the feeling that something happened when they used to live in Chicago that made them move to Texas. And she's like, Texas is our home now. We decided that as a family, but we don't know what the thing is yet, okay? There's a lot of secrets in this movie. There's a lot of, we'll talk about it later, and then people don't talk about it later that happens, so
Yeah, you
we'll
gotta
see.
save that for F7.
For F95.
New Year's Eve Twister.
There you go. Nwister. Yep. Okay, more science talk about how So basically, Ethan at the weather office factory has it has these like models that take into effect climate change, whereas Logan, who is the meteorologist slash co-anchor, I guess, is just using like a regular old dummy models, right? And so we're looking at these new ones, and he's essentially just like, hey, they just think that it's raining, but a tornado could reform because climate change is bad. And Ethan calls
Hot
Addison
take.
to be, yeah, right. Ethan calls Addison and is like, hey, your dumb Logan is giving the wrong forecast because he says that the tornado is over, but it's not. Like, can you please? And then, okay, this is why I was confused about what Ethan does, because Addison is like, would you just let him do his job? And I was like, wait, actually, isn't it Ethan's job? Is he like nobody believes him? So I'm like, what is his actual job that he is like looking at and predicting weather, but nobody believes him?
I mean, that's more of, it's not like he, well, I mean, yes, they should believe him, but he's like, it's not like he's like working for
Right,
weathermen
but
or whatever.
no, he's not like, oh wait, let me see if there's a storyline in here. Oh, he's a meteorologist and a part-time professor working at a local university studying tornadoes. Movie, how are we supposed to know that? That makes a lot more sense to me. I was going to say it would make sense if he was like a professor or something. But the movie did not tell us that. That just is in the storyline.
Yeah, I didn't expect this movie to actually give us any real information.
Right. So, anyways, he's like, yeah, okay, well, Logan's stupid and dumb and a poo-poo pants. And Addison's like, whatever. And so then we find out that, like, the big thing, I don't know if they like fully divulge what happened, but I wrote, so I guess he made a false weather report in Chicago, and that's why they had to move, because she doesn't believe him. Okay. So we cut to the house. Caitlin and Max are gonna go to school, and she like refuses to make him lunch, and then asks him to just mooch food off of his friends. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with her? And then he's like, hey, do you think our parents will get divorced? And she's like, oh my god, whatever, Max. So then we get the first cut. There's just like this guy driving down a road, and his truck kind of like breaks down. He gets out and is like looking at the clouds and literally like records a tornado touchdown. Like at first he's just like, huh, wow, look at them clouds. And then the funnel starts coming down, and instead of running, he's just like recording it. And he literally tries to run down the street away from the tornado, but he falls and gets snatched right up, and it looks hilarious.
Anytime anybody or anything gets picked up by a tornado, it's like the best part of the movie.
For real. That's why I just like needed way more of that and way less of people calling someone else's name looking for them 20 times. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so then finally an alarm goes off at the weather office. Oh, wait, alarm goes off at weather office, and they're like, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Okay, so they get an alert about the tornado that just touches down. Ethan is like, I need to leave to find my children. He sends Addison a weather map that is essentially just like, look, tornado outbreak, and there's more science talk about how it's the perfect storm. And she still kind of doesn't believe him, but he's like, I'm gonna go get the kids, and I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't sure. I'm gonna take them to my mom's storm shelter. So then Addison's like, okay. So she goes to Logan, and essentially Logan is just a jerk. And so now we know what happened is that in Chicago, Ethan, I guess, had already predicted this perfect storm situation, I guess, and an entire town evacuated, and then nothing happened. And I was like, is that really that big of a deal?
Yes.
Is it? I don't know. He was like, well, isn't it better safe than sorry? And I was like, I mean, I would think so. I would rather somebody tell me to leave my house because there's a storm than just nobody tell me and then I get tornadoed, you know?
I agree. Like, it's also, though, you see how people react when it's just like, You said it wasn't gonna rain today, and it rained. You
I kept
ruined my
having-
entire month.
I kept having like, I kept thinking about King of the Hill because you know, Nancy was like the weather girl, and all like whenever that would happen, and she's like, I don't need. They like didn't even have like
I
the
thought you were
stuff
gonna
to predict.
talk about the episode where Hank gets all of his clothes ripped off by a tornado.
That was a really good one too. Man, that's the kind of tornado content I want. So, what happened? Logan again is talking about how the station wants to offer her the anchor job, and they want to know by the end of the day. And I was like, why are they not talking directly to her? This makes no sense to me. Then we get just like, we're at the mall. There are 3 of the worst Christmas carolers I've ever heard in front of this mall singing.
Yeah, they're pretty terrible.
They're like not even trying to sing on key. I don't know what was going on with them. You know what though? You know what? Just dance. Do what you need to do. Dance your dance. You know. What's her name? Caitlin. Caitlin and her friend Lexi maybe are
Yeah.
at the mall. They're skipping school to just go to the mall, and they goof on Santa a little bit. Then we're at our next tornado. There's this cool rock music playing, and there's like a camper truck situation driving around, and it kind of seems like they were chasing the tornado, looking for it, and they do find it, and the tornado chases them for a little bit, but then just goes and takes a hard right and goes towards a train and just sucks that train right up.
It rules.
It was pretty good. It was just like bloop.
I wish there had been the sound effect for it.
It essentially was. Then one of the guys, so they're recording it, and one of the guys goes, "We're gonna make a fortune on YouTube." Short guy.
Yeah.
The American dream, so.
To be rich from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really even understand YouTube that much, but
I understand you can get rich from it.
yeah.
I understand YouTube gets extra rich from it.
Yeah. Yep. That's yeah. So basically, we just get a scene of Logan being a climate change denier, as older white men are
Tend to be.
prone to do. Yeah, and Addison is basically like, you guys are crazy. Like, you need to let me on the air to warn people, just to like tell them maybe there's tornadoes or something. Ethan, meanwhile, has picked up Max from school, and he has talked to the principal, and the principal decides that they're going to do a tornado drill. And this is when the weather service finally issues a warning, and this is like, basically Ethan's like, okay, we're gonna go get your sister, and Max is like, she's not at school, so they're gonna go to the mall, and Addison's like, oh, I'll meet you there, and Ethan's like, no, stay at the building, it's the safest place, which, as we find out, it is not, but whatever. And so she's gonna go on air. Finally, Deb, her boss, says like, fine, you can go on air and like warn people about tornadoes. Ethan calls Caitlin and is like, hey, where are you? But the phone cuts out, and she was just like, that was weird, and they go about shopping. But then the twister comes to the mall. This is when we get this scene of like Ashley, the dog, back at home looking out the window going like, aw shit, and somehow Ashley just escapes the house and runs away before the tornado comes and like fucks their house up. And for the rest of the movie, we just sort of see Ashley running around by themselves. Okay, so this is when so Caitlin and her friend Lexi are like, oh man, they're looking outside, they can see the tornado coming, they're like, man, this is scary. And we've also had a scene of like everybody in the town like running into the mall for safety, and here comes Treble, comes up and is like, Caitlin, open the door, and he's like shaking the door, and instead of unlocking the door, and letting him in, which they had plenty of time to do. They just stand there and stare at him, and then he gets sucked right up. So he's dead.
R.I.P. to a real one.
Yeah, for real. His scene was also very funny because he's just like, and she's like, ah, and I was like, it couldn't have been that hard to just open the door, but whatever. Maybe doors are harder to open in Texas than I realize.
Well, it was locked. If she doesn't have the key, how's she supposed to unlock it?
Don't they just have like regular locks?
No, I mean, like, you gotta figure, if it's the front door to a mall, it's gotta have some sort of, like, locking mechanism that somebody has to, like, do, so you can't just, some rando can do it.
But on the inside, I feel like...
Like, they're either gonna be an actual, like, key lock, or it's gonna be, like, some, probably, like, digital thing that you have to put in, like, a passcode for now.
My question is, who locked them in the first place? There doesn't seem to be any sort of security at the mall. Like, people are just running around.
It and went and hid.
Just taking care, looking out for number one.
One guy in the store shutting his metal blinder things.
Yeah. Anyway, he's gone. Hope you're singing in the choir in heaven. So the Twister is like passing over the mall. There's like glass breaking and shit, and they go to the underground shelter. Meanwhile, Addison is like giving her boss shit because she wouldn't let her go on earlier, saying that there's, tornadoes and stuff, and she's kind of just like, well, whatever. Logan is gonna go out in the field, and again he's like, hey, so what do you think about that job? Let's go to New York. Wear magic, baby. And she's like, no, I'm staying here. I don't want the job. Fuck you. So meanwhile, we're seeing shots of like their neighborhood, like neighborhoods just being decimated, and it's very sad, but Ashley's fine, so it's okay.
Yeah, she's just bombing around, destruction, eating bugs off the ground and stuff.
Rolling around in some shit.
What dogs
and,
do.
Yeah. Also, the kids at the school are okay. Because Ethan warned them, so they're safe. Caitlin so the exact same thing that happened in the beginning of the movie happens now, where in the basement of the mall, there's like, and then it stops, and they're like, oh, is it over? And Caitlin, for some reason, a teenage girl, is like, I'll go check to see if the tornado's gone. And I was like, where are all the adults? What is going on here? And so she goes upstairs and walks into the hallway and starts yelling hello, and I was like, do you expect the tornado to be like, hello? I'm here. I don't know who she's talking to.
It's just like a whooshing hello.
Hello. Essentially the mall is fucked up, and then she does hear some girl saying help. And so she's like, hello? Hello? And the girl's like, help! So she gets over, and there's like this girl who is like taller than her, first of all, and I don't know why they made the choice to go with like a teenager versus like a child, but she's like laying underneath the debris of like the Santa's workshop where the mall Santa was like taking pictures with people, and she's got all this debris laid around her, but I want to point out it's like very obvious that she's not actually pinned down by anything. She's just like laying there, and she's like, my leg hurts. And so she's like, okay, come on, I'll help you. And the girl like doesn't trust her and like won't go with her. And I was like, what's the problem? You asked for help. I don't understand. Like, maybe she's like, why isn't there an adult here? I don't know.
It's also, she doesn't really like, she barely seems like she's stuck.
There's literally nothing touching her.
I would have just let the sign fall on her.
I mean, yeah. And so then she's like, here, let me wrap my dirty shirt around your leg so it doesn't get infected. Let's go. And they move right as the Santa's workshop or whatever sign falls, but like not actually where they were. So like they weren't going to get hit by it anyways, but whatever, it's fine. And then I was like, she's like the same age. I don't know. Ethan and Max get to the mall. Ethan is like asking strangers if if they've seen Caitlin. He's like, "Have you seen my daughter? Have you
Yeah.
seen my daughter?" And they're like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like,
Everybody
what?
knows the local guy that had to move there because he fucked up another city's day or some shit.
Yeah, the local meteorologist school teacher with the blemish on his record. They're finally all reunited, and Max. Oh.
What?
So
Okay.
intrigued.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
oh.
I didn't understand what my note was. So essentially, Ethan, because I wrote Ethan and Max get to the mall. Ethan is like, Max, stay in the car, and leaves. He finds Caitlin and the friend. Then when they come back to the car, Max is gone, and like he went to go find some girl's grandpa or something, and the ceiling fell in on him. But he's fine.
I just liked it. Like she was like, "Little kid, please go find my grandpa for me."
And she's like his sister's age, and she's just like yeah, I don't know. So then there's like this weird slow-mo reunion of him like carrying the brother out, and it's like, in the arms of the angels, and they're like, the friends like jumping up and down, and I don't know, it's really weird. Okay, so Zach and Chloe call Ethan and are like, "Hey, there's more tornadoes," and then Caitlin's friend takes Max to Grandma's house, and Caitlin stays with Ethan because she's like, "You might need help," and he's like, "Okay, sure, fine." Also, there's a scene of Ashley made it to town. I'm glad we just stuck with Ashley. We should have just stuck with this. Should have been Christmas Twister Ashley's story. Like,
Yes.
we should have just followed Ashley the whole time. I would have loved that.
They should have cut back to just like her walking around like rubble, like periodically, just like a little update.
Helping people, saving babies, you know.
Checking in.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Deb is like, "Woohoo, ratings!" And Ashley is pissed because she's like, "People are dead, Deb." Okay, so now we are at a power plant, and the power plant alarm is going off, and there's like people running all around, like, "Ah!" And Logan is there to report about the tornado. And this is when we find out that it is an F6, which one of them said, "There's no such thing as an F6, but if there was, it would be like a nuclear blast." So
Which
now
does not seem to be what they portray on screen.
No, like,
Not quite.
it just looks like a regular tornado to me, but what do
Like
I know?
Not nuclear blast.
Just a regular blast.
Just a blast.
A Baja blast, if you will.
Yeah. You get Baja blasted. It's akin to the...
I would like that. Logan goes up to like the roof of like this plant or whatever, and is like doing the news, and the tornado is behind him, and everybody is like watching him be like, "Oh, by the way, there's a tornado." And he turns around and sees the tornado, and then a shipping container gets flung through the air and smashes into him, and he is dead.
It's
He sucked, so I'm not sad about it.
oh, it's like the best scene of the movie.
Yeah, because again, he just like turns and stares at it, and then he's like, "Ah!" and he like puts his hand up.
I wish they would have just done like a CGI shot from the side of it, just like smashing into them.
That would have been great. That might have taken the movie a little further for me, to be honest.
Yes.
Because it just like cuts the film basically, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it." And Deb is like upset, and Addison like consoles her, and then they decide to evacuate the office because the tornado is coming to the station. This is the part that got kind of boring to me, so I don't know if I missed anything, but the station's on fire now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like bullshit of like the tornado going over the station after like everybody goes like running to the shelter or, you know, whatever the little safe spot is, except the fucking pregnant lady had to go get something in the sub basement of the building.
Yes.
For like somebody, I think Casper Van Dien's wife, and like, which is like, apparently seems like it takes you 45 minutes to an hour to get to, but they made like the lady that's literally about to go into labor walk down there to get it.
Also, it seems like you shouldn't have anything in your sub-basement, sub-closet, something that somebody should actually ever need.
Like, the fact that their storage is, like, so far away from everything, and it, like, they go from being in this kind of fancy-looking building to what looks like the end of any generic 90s action movie, where, like, they go into, like, this, you know...
underground
yeah, it's like
tunnel system.
Yeah, like, you know, like the underground parts of, like, some giant building that's just shooting steam everywhere. Like, it's crazy, but, like, that's apparently where they decided to put all their storage at, so this, you know, chair that she fucking needed or whatever, she had to go fucking 8 miles under the Earth's core or the Earth's crust to get to.
You would not catch me in the sub-closet, sub-basement. That's for sure. There's, like, it's like a crystal cave starting down there, essentially.
Definitely, like, a chud the bud living down there.
Yeah, something. So Addison is like, oh no, Prego's down there. She's got to go down there and rescue her. She's, like, battling with debris that is, you know, just slightly askew. Just, like, move a ladder and some plywood to go find Prego. She's, like, walking under there for forever, calling her name. And she finally finds her, and she is, quote-unquote, pinned underneath a bookshelf. But, as you can clearly see, she is also not being touched by anything that's
she's
there.
just, like, bare. Like, she's just
laying there. And it literally is, like, a bookshelf made out of, like, a tuba fur. Like, it's nothing. But she, like, gets her out, and then... at the same time, Ethan and Caitlin arrive, and Debbie's like, I don't know, the basement, yeah, the basement, see ya, and runs away. So they have to, like, go down into the basement to, like, find her, and meanwhile, there's, like, fires, so Addison and Prego are walking around, and she can't breathe because there's fires, smoke, and she's coughing, and they sit, I don't know, she's like, I need to rest, so they sit down and, like, pass out, basically. And then when Ethan finds them, Prego isn't breathing, and Ethan gives her CPR, and she's fine. I guess they're fine. Then there's another slow-mo scene of them all coming out of the building, and Deb's like, "Yay, you're alive! I won't get sued any more than I already am."
Except for, like, the other 2 people I got killed.
Yeah. You know, let's keep it to 2 is fine. 3 or 4, no.
Yeah,
not
nobody
so much.
cared about the cameraman. So.
Nah. So there's, like, this whole slow-mo, and then Addison apologizes to Ethan for being a bitch and, like, not believing him, and they, like, make out a bunch. Zach and Chloe are like, okay, it's over for real, and they kiss. Everyone's kissing. Addison is like, by the way, I didn't cheat on you, and also, I was offered a job in New York, but I'm not taking it. And then they make out more. At home, they're, like, swimming and having a barbecue. Max isn't grounded anymore. I know everyone was really concerned about that bit of information. And Ashley comes home, which is the real good news here.
My favorite part about her being like, I did cheat, and also I turned down this job in New York, is that the problem with it would have been that she was going with Logan, who is now dead. So, like, she could easily have, like, taken that job, and, like, it would have been fine.
Well, but
I mean,
I think
he
like,
likes his job there, I guess, but...
Well, she also said, like, earlier there was, like, this whole scene between her and Prego that I left out because it was boring, where she was essentially just like, I can't do that to my family. I'm barely around as it is. And I was just like, God, I can't... Whatever.
How much time does a fucking news anchor that doesn't write... Like, she's like she's writing the story. She's just probably there for, like, 2 hours a day or whatever.
Like, I know she gets called in when there's, like, breaking news or whatever, but I just feel like the news, there's, like, an hour of news a day, and then they just rerun it. I can't imagine that she's just, like, so absent from her kids' lives, but whatever.
I'm sure at least one popular news anchor listens to us, so tell us about your job.
Yeah. Well, and I'm under the impression that, like, this is, like, small time, right? So it's not, like... it's not like when Nancy left Arlen to go be, like, big news boss, you know what I mean?
I was under the assumption that it was, like, that kind of, like, middle... not like small, but kind of like, because if it's one of those things where they're being like scouted or whatever to go to the quote unquote big leagues, like I
Yeah.
assume they're kind of like, as opposed to like whatever, like a small town news station, like they're probably like a like Dallas size news station.
Who? Never heard of it. So then Addison says, "Merry Christmas," and it pans out to the house, which is fucked up. The end.
I just like that, like they're making the burgers, but those burgers, like that grill was 100% not on, and it just looks like he's like flipping like raw ground beef and like hot dogs on a grill.
Raw meat on cold steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some coffee on there, and I'm there. I love how when Ashley comes home, they're like, "Yeah, Ashley's here," and they like pick him up and like are petting him and stuff. And then the side eye, he's just like, "Okay, can I please be fucking done with these people? I hate them."
It's also like, were you not concerned about this until they're just like, "Oh, we're not gonna bother looking. Ashley will find its way back."
essentially, yeah. The dad, I remember somebody, Max probably asked about them, and then the dad was like, "Oh, I'm sure they're fine." I'm like, there was a tornado that hit your house and your dog's missing. Like,
The first thing I would have done was like not drive to the school. I would have been like, I go get the dog.
Yeah.
The school will take care of these kids, except in this movie, apparently not, because there's like the only reason any of the kids were safe is because this dude like secretly warned them.
Yeah. At least the principal listened to him, I guess.
This movie's so dumb, and I love it.
It wasn't bad.
We
it was fine.
we have to do Fire Twister now at some point.
I'm down for more CG twisters.
Especially if it's made of fire.
Yes.
Times Twister.
Wasn't there like a clown one?
Oh, Clowntergeist is real bad. We're never doing that.
Wait, and that Clowntergeist is the one
Not
that we did.
Clowntergeist, Clownnado, I mean.
Clownado.
The poster looks incredible, Nathan. I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
it's like, it's one of those movies that looks like it's going to be fun, but then like the violence is so kind of like realistic that it kind of makes it a bummer to watch. Like I watched it one night and like I was like, oh, this is probably gonna be like real stupid, and like, and it's weird because it's just like like the clowns just kind of like show up and just like a puff of smoke as opposed to like a tornado. Like it's just, I don't know. I found
don't
everything
like the
about it really
idea
bad.
that it says cursed demonic circus clowns set out on a vengeful massacre using tornadoes. I don't like that. I thought it was like a tornado sucks all the clowns up and then they're like,
It like
I don't know.
it's just weird. Like the tones in it are like really bizarre because it's like with the name and the idea, you're expecting it to be goofy, but then it's just like super serious and like shot like it's like a lot of the way it's shot makes it feel like you're like actually watching like a snuff film as opposed to like a movie. And the way like the way they make it, like it's like extremely like gross and violent. I don't know. I found the entire thing to be like a bummer when I just wanted to watch like a really stupid movie with a stupid name.
It looks like Hollywood rightfully started taking money away from Rob Zombie, and he had to, start shooting on $100 budgets.
Yeah, pretty
my
much.
favorite thing is that these promo posters literally look like they're from Spirit Halloween.
Like a Spirit Halloween.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, there's one where there's like a lady who I assume is the stripper they're referring to, who is like down on the floor with like balloons, looking like wistful, and then there's like two people with like Spirit Halloween clown prosthetics on their face, and it says "A nightmare of unspeakable horror."
Honestly, like the Rob Zombie comparison is pretty legit because, like, from my memory, like all of the clowns felt very like if you put Bill Moseley's character in like Devil's Rejects in like clown makeup.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, no Weekly World News update because they had like one update since the last episode and it was bad.
Boomer.
So, is there any news, Katie?
not really, but there's a few things that I found fun. Like, there is news, but I didn't care about any of it. Those, like, did you guys ever have those, like, bendy toys when you were younger?
Yeah.
Where they were,
You have to be more specific than bendy toy.
like, they're characters, but they're, like, completely bendy. They're not rubber.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Okay, well, they're coming out with a line that is Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Dracula, and they look super cool, and I want all of them. I had, like, a Pink Panther one. But you can see those. They look pretty cool. Then also I saw that Adidas is doing a Gremlins-inspired shoe.
Oh,
like,
hell.
they're not calling it Gremlins. It's called Christmas Monster, and it's like really crazy because it's like they're completely furry and they're like half brown, half white sort of, but like in a gizmo type pattern, and then there's like huge eyeballs on the back of it, and it's very cute.
And amazing.
Yes, they look awesome. And then I had not heard of this yet, but I guess it's been out there. Nicolas Cage, just the year of Nicolas Cage, more Nicolas Cage, is going to be in a movie called Prisoners of the Ghostland. And the way that he describes it is, it's out there. I wear a skin-tight black leather jumpsuit with grenades attached to different body parts, and if I don't rescue the governor's daughter from this state line where they're all ghosts and bring her back, they're gonna blow me up.
I'm a 1,000,000,000% in.
Yeah. So I didn't see, but Bill Moseley also is in it, and Sophia Boutella from that Mummy remake are two of the other stars, and I didn't see a release date for it, but sounds pretty cool.
I'm assuming that's something they probably haven't even shot yet, so, or like are in the middle of shooting, or I don't know. I guess if he knows like what he was wearing, then I guess maybe it was shot.
Yeah, there's a couple stills from it, and they look really cool. Like, I really like what they did with the lighting. So.
I like that like Willy's Wonderland, the movie where he's playing himself, like I forget what it's called. Something about, I don't know, being an actor. I think it's just called being an actor.
And then also whichever one that he's in with Devon Sawa, I thought.
And then he's got
that's Bruce Campbell.
The
3, I assume.
What is it?
Spider-Man 3.
Honestly, he should.
probably.
He was in Spider-Verse, so
That'd be amazing.
they should just recast Tom Holland as with Nick Cage. It's fucking 50-year-old Spider-Man.
Listen, I want old dad bod Spider-Man movie. That's what I want.
All right. Did you guys watch anything?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did either.
Anything?
I
Watched a lot of Danny DeVito movies.
I haven't watched any of them yet. I'm doing it tomorrow. Like the only thing I watched was a recipe for seduction.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It is perfect.
Wow.
It's only like 16 minutes, and it's just like.
Do you get their dong?
Do what?
Is there dong?
No, they saved that for the sequel, but you do get to see Mario Lopez, Colonel Sanders tied up and duct taped.
Oh, jeez.
It's essentially just like a Lifetime movie, like put in like a 16-minute like mini movie. So it's like extra stupid because you could see how like ridiculous an hour 20 minute movie like is when you can just boil it down to 16 minutes.
Right. What's even the plot?
This girl gets proposed to at the beginning by her like rich boyfriend, but she doesn't want to marry him, and she's got a quirky gay black best friend that like she just like side eyes to when he goes to propose to her. And then the next day like you find out that her dad died and left her and her mom just a bunch of debt, even though they're living in a fucking mansion. And so the mom wants her to marry this dude to just be rich and not have to worry about this debt. And then she's introduced to their new cook, Harlan Sanders.
Oh, I see.
Who is popping out of his fucking shirt the whole time because it's Mario Lopez. Who looks weird as fuck with gray hair and like a fucking fake goatee.
Well, because you can even tell from the promo shots, it just like looks so fake. There's like nothing about it that looks authentic.
It works though. Like it looks perfect for like what they're doing.
Yeah.
But like they meet and like immediately they're in love with each other.
Of course.
But the boyfriend doesn't like it, and like you find out like she's gonna like the mom overhears her talking to her best friend about how she's like, or the best friend's like giving her advice like, you know, the heart wants what the heart wants, so you gotta like follow it. And the mom overhears this and like steals the daughter's phone and like texts the boyfriend as like, meet me here. And like they meet at this bar that the best friend is also about to go on a blind date at, and he overhears them talking about how the mom and the boyfriend had like a weekend of passion together, and like they're secretly like a couple, and they're gonna plot to kill Harlan to like make sure that she can't be in love with him and she'll marry him, like the boyfriend. And like the next thing is the boyfriend is showing up, finding Harlan's book of this secret chicken recipe that's gonna make him a famous person, and like offers him some unspecified amount of money. He just like writes him a check, and he's like, just take the money and your secret recipe and get out of here. And so he tells like Harlan like to leave, and that, you know, the girl already agreed to like get engaged to him. So Harlan's just like, I hope you and your fiance will be really happy together, and like goes to leave, but instead gets kidnapped by the boyfriend and the mom, and is like tied up. And then the best friend shows up to like warn the girl about the parents, and gets knocked out with a golf club by the mom.
Ooh.
And like it gets like real dark like real quick, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen like a Lifetime movie in a long time, but I don't remember there being so much kidnapping and possible murder.
That's essentially almost every Lifetime movie.
Well, but like I don't know, I like in my mind I was thinking of it as like these like you know, like a Christmas love story movie, and then all of a sudden it's just like this fucking like kidnap subplot. But like, you know, like they kidnap him, and like she finds Harlan tied up, and they're getting ready to kill him, and like the best friend shows up and knocks out the boyfriend and like saves the day. And then it cuts to a year later where Harlan has sold his recipe and is like rich, and they get married. And then right before the credits, it cuts to the mom in like an asylum, sitting on a bench, and you could tell she's crazy because her hair's all mussed up.
Of course.
And the boyfriend dude comes walking up and sits down and is like, I found him, and just takes a big bite out of a chicken drumstick, and it cuts to like credits. So there's definitely gonna be another one.
Yeah.
Which
that chicken money.
I'm into it because it was very stupid, and for like a 16-minute movie, I'm fully on board watching again.
Right. Well.
Yep, that's all I watched.
I watched mostly just more Christmas movies. I watched Holiday with Emma Roberts, and it was like a cute whatever. I also watched like the newer Nutcracker movie from like 2 years ago, which I ended up really liking. And then I watched Noelle, that has Bill Hader and what's that girl who was in Twilight and that singing movie?
Kristen Stewart?
No.
She's the only person I know from Twilight.
Anna Kendrick.
I didn't know she was in Twilight.
Yeah. And it was super cute also. So I know actually when this comes out, it's not Christmas anymore, but if you're still feeling Christmas time is here, you could go and watch them.
All right,
Had to sneak it in there.
Kit, what pay-per-view are you recommending?
I don't even remember what the fuck I was on. What's after WrestleMania?
Something boring because they pretty much just like immediately drop something shitty right after WrestleMania.
Hold on, I gotta Google, because I'm like in real life, I'm way ahead of what I am recommending these. Oh, Backlash 1999.
I feel like Backlash is usually never good.
Yeah, it usually isn't. There's another Stone Cold versus The Rock match though, so that's always worth watching. And then Al Snow against Hardcore Holly for the Hardcore Championship.
Oh man, have you ever seen that fucking? I can't remember if it was a pay-per-view or like a live event shit, you know, like a regular like Raw or whatever, where Hardcore Holly goes like through a table, but like the plastic thing on the end doesn't do, like cuts into his back.
Yes.
And it just like he keeps wrestling, and you could see like this giant gash keep getting like wider as he's wrestling. It's fucked up. It's I remember watching that like a couple years ago and being like, Jesus Christ, how did this dude keep wrestling?
Yeah, I've got a picture of it pulled up, and that is really gnarly looking.
Yeah, like
Yikes.
towards the end of it, you could kind of like see like the like fat and muscle a little bit.
Yeah.
It seems painful.
Hardcore Holly didn't fuck around.
No, he did not get nearly the respect he deserved as a wrestler.
No, absolutely not.
All right, my recommendation is the band To Be Gentle. This kind of like hardcore screamo band released a cover of Return to the Mines by Full of Hell. That's really good. And a Recipe for Seduction, which you can watch for free on Lifetime. And just don't buy any KFC afterwards, because it's blatantly just a 16-minute ad for KFC. So
Yeah. The poster, like, literally says, like, presented by or brought to you by KFC or something.
Like,
Gross.
the only reason I didn't feel, like, shitty watching it is, like, I know I'm, like, it's, like, I've well past the point of being able to fall for, like, stupid shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can easily watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine and not be like, cops are great, actually.
Cops are great. Yeah, exactly.
All right, what about you, Katie?
Let's see. I recommend. I got the Pokemon Shield expansion for an early Christmas present, so I've been playing that, and it's really fun. And at first, like when the game came out, it was $60, right? Because it's a Switch game. And then they came out with like 2 expansions, and it's like 2 separate worlds, and it's like $40 or something. And I was like, I am not about to pay that much. Like, there's no way they could have added that much content. But I got it as a gift, and it's actually super fun because they added like 100 more Pokemon or something like that. And one of the areas is like a wintry area, so it's like super nice. So I recommend either the game and or the expansion, and also I watched Uncle Buck, and I really like that movie, so Uncle Buck.
I've seen Uncle Buck since I was like a kid.
It's still so good.
All right, next week, MVP.
Actually, do we even know? Oh wait, is that real?
Yeah, we're doing MVP.
Yeah.
We're gonna do MVP, then MVP2, and then MXP.
What? How?
I don't care. We could do one of them. We could do MVP2 and then just go back to like regular if you want. But we're doing at least most vertical primate.
I guess I forgot also that we're done with winter movies at this point.
Christmas is dead.
It's
After this stupid holiday season and work, I'm fully prepared for the joy of most vertical primate. And then we'll go back to regular scheduled programming of
okay. That's fine.
I don't know.
Little cleanser.
Clown apocalypse or some bullshit.
Clown apocalypse. Who knows? We've said so many things that we were gonna do next month that we don't even know.
All I remember was MVP because that was like the last time we recorded.
We should not say, and then all of us just watch whatever,
should...
like whatever we had previously mentioned, and see if we like synced up or not.
Yeah, we should just be like, we should just pick a list of 10 movies and then each pick one out of it without telling each other and see if any of us watch the same movie.
I would be shocked if we all picked.
And then we just all talk at the same time about what our movie was about. Or we could all just like, what we'll do is we'll each watch a movie and record our own separate things, and then I'll just place it on top of each other.
Yeah, I
so
like
it's just
that.
all playing at the same time.
We're just like blah 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 blah.
Katie just singing about Christmas under the entire thing.
Easter time is here.
All right. Yeah, we're doing MVP 2 next week.
Okay.
So deal with it, Katie.
We should remember before we had talked about we were going to do a month of only sequels, having not seen the first movie. We should try and do that.
We could do that for the last. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll just do that all of January because I've never seen MVP, so.
I mean, surprisingly, I haven't either. Although I don't like monkeys, so I guess that's not surprising.
How dare you?
Gross.
That's going to be very difficult to try and figure out how sequels to movies none of us have seen.
Sometimes it doesn't matter, so we'll see how much it...
I mean, I guess there's a shit ton of like movies on Tubi and stuff that are just like somehow had sequels of just like garbage that no one's ever seen in the first place, so I'm sure we can figure it out.
Yeah, it's like I'm just gonna say Fever like 3, or it's like Haunted like 3, and I was like, I didn't even know there was a 1 and 2.
It's such a stupid idea. I can't wait to do that. All right, so you can support our extremely stupid ideas like this by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/IPSufferPodcast. Next month's bonus episode we've already announced is Danny DeVito movies.
Hey.
And we are doing Twins, Batman Returns, and Screwed, which will probably come out a couple days after this episode drops, something like that.
Yes.
Extremely excited to talk about all 3 of these movies.
Me too.
For the first bonus episode, we didn't pick something bad. You can buy shirts and all that kind of shit at our storefrontier at storefrontier.com/IPSuffer. Leave us ratings and reviews on iTunes. Tell us what you thought about A Recipe for Seduction in the review. Follow us on Twitter at IHYSPod and Instagram at IPSufferPodcast.
Someone dropped their recipe for chicken fried tofu.
Yeah, tell us what you think the secret recipe is from...
I think I know what it is.
What is it?
I'll tell you.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Layla was correct in it that it's Mario Lopez's dick, so...
Yeah. Mine was pretty close to that.
Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery for sick the thing artwork. Sick
things,
yeah.
Artwork of things.
That I see pop up in a bunch of people's stories now.
Yeah, speaking of, if you are friends with people who do art on Instagram, the only way that anyone gets visibility at this point is if you share and or save the post. So if you want to help your friends out for free, that's a super great way to do it.
Yeah, hashtags don't do shit anymore.
No.
Yeah, hashtags are only helpful to like find things you're specifically looking for. It's just like essentially like a search function. But like it doesn't do you any good for engagement.
No. So, help your friends out.
Yeah, do that. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face and do the same thing for her artwork and stuff.
Yeah, I just posted a very cute baby Yoda ornament.
His name
so
is Grogu.
you can go see it. I don't like it. I'm just gonna call him Yoda.
I
Baby Yoda.
Don't care about any
I'm gonna
of
call him Baby Gore Guts.
it. Yeah.
I like that.
I'm gonna
Cute.
call Baby Gorgor the dinosaur from the Guar movie.
I like it.
You could listen to my other podcast, Nate Cape Movie Club. Yeah, watch Most Vertical Primate on Tubi, because it's gonna be pretty extreme, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
The monkey's gonna
Tubular.
kickflip all over the place, and it's gonna be pretty awesome. Bob Burnquist is gonna hold it.
Gonna kickflip right into your heart.
Yep. If that's not the tagline, I'm gonna be very upset.
Same.
Goodness, if it's not trash.
Alright, I gotta go cry at work. I hope I don't suffer,
Oh,
but Guerrilla Radio.
okay.
Also, Meat Shake Monster, because Meat Shake.
Lights out on your job.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope it's.
Burn that shit
I
down.
hope it snows so much that all the power goes out and I can't go to work.
That'd be cool. Well, but I hope you have power at your house.
Yeah,
but not
me
the
too.
store. All right.
Yeah.
Happy New Year!
Boo.